Hello everyone, this is Karst, and welcome back to Dishonored. This is going to be episode 2. Last time we were framed for the Empress's murder. We've broken out of prison, made it to a safe house, and woken up in a strange place that's not quite the real world. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what's out here. That doesn't seem safe. Something's not right. Strange gravity, alright. Yep.
Hello, Corvo.
Hello there.
Your life has taken a turn, has it not? The Empress is dead. Her precious daughter Emily is lost somewhere in the city, and you will play a pivotal role in the days to come. For this, I have chosen you and drawn you into the void. I am the outsider, and this is my mark. There are forces in the world and beyond the world. Great forces that men call magic. And now, these forces will serve your will. Use this newfound power. My gift to you. Come find me.
Now I have to think, why is the outsider showing such vested interest in this entire scenario? Why is he helping us? That I don't recall, because as far as I know, the outsider is like an extra-dimensional entity. He's more or less a god, basically. Yeah. Anyway, right-click to blink. Fast and stealthy forward dash through the world. You can use it to move upward, but the distance is reduced. Aiming at ledges will allow you to blink forward and climb up. And hold the right-click button to target your destination with precision. A blue sphere indicates that you should reach your destination. A blue arrow indicates that you will climb up when you reach your destination. Excellent. This is basically going to be the most used skill I have in the game. Okay, this way to aim it. Yep. So I can climb it if I do that. Yep. Fallen letter. You cannot save her. Repeated, like, I don't know, like 20 times. Got it. Wonderful, wonderful. There is definitely a cooldown. Oh! Ow. Watch your step. Well, you know what I didn't do? That. Crap. I have now failed twice. Your mana is depleted. Some mana will regenerate over time. Good to know. So you can cancel it as well. There you go. Where are these people again? Emily's letter. Corvo, I am very sad. They say that you're dead like mother, but I'm going to put this note in a bottle and throw it into the river because I do not believe them. Living here is very strange. I do not like it, so please come for me if you can. Will do. A bit of a challenge, alright. Yarrow's Spiritual Remedy. Tea to drink the mana potion. Fascinating. What? Okay, so basically, if I don't spam it, the skill, I can keep the mana. That's good, if it regenerates. Okay, regular people. Not looking forward to facing or sneaking around these things. I do remember them in my memory. What is this, oil? Whale oil? I assume it is. Alright. Fascinating.
In the days that follow, your trials will be great, Corvo. Seek the ancient runes bearing my mark in the lonely places of your world, and at shrines raised in my name. These runes will grant you powers beyond those of other men. To help you find these runes, I give you this, the heart of a living thing, molded by my hands. With this heart, you will hear many secrets, and it will guide you toward my runes, no matter how they may be hidden. Listen to the heart now, and find another rune.
Okay, so quick note. I think the runes are randomized, and I guess it's probably a bit of a story spoiler, but if I remember correctly, the heart is actually the heart of the Empress, of Empress Jessamine. So she's gonna make quotes and stuff that will make a lot more sense if you realize that it's her. Equipping the heart in your left hand helps you locate bone charms or runes, even through walls. The heart beats and lights up when you're facing a bone charm or a rune, and it beats faster as you get closer. The heart will whisper secrets if you press right-click while targeting a person or location.
This place is the end of all things, and the beginning. All of time's meaning is here. Neither seconds, nor centuries. Someday this place will devour all the lights in the sky.
That's concerning.
The one who walks here is all things. Cradle songs of comfort and bones gnawed by teeth. This is the place from which those who dabble in the black arts draw their power. And this place is their doom. I can feel a great age ending.
Well, yep.
This place is the end of all things, and the beginning.
Oh, ow.
All of time's meaning is here. Neither seconds, nor centuries.
Sure.
Someday this place will devour all the lights in the sky. The one who walks here is all things. Cradle songs of comfort and bones gnawed by teeth. This is the place from which
Okay, fine.
those who dabble in black arts draw their power. And this place is their doom.
My precious. Runes and acquiring powers. Once you've collected some runes, open the journal and go to the powers section to exchange them for powers. Runes can be collected and used to acquire supernatural powers. Okay. Oh, I have to select the powers. Lovely. Dark vision. See in the dark and see living things through the walls, including their fields of vision, etc., etc. Okay, so it's telling me to get these, basically, right? Oh, because I don't have enough runes for the other stuff. I can only afford these. Okay. So health is increased and health regeneration is improved. At level 1, your health is increased, allowing you to sustain more damage from attacks, explosions, or falling. At level 2, the portion of your health bar that regenerates is improved in several ways. Regeneration occurs faster and more of your health regenerates. Dark vision. 1. See in the dark and see living things through walls, including their fields of vision. That seems very useful. Representations of the sounds that you make are also visible. Level 2. See in the dark and see living things through walls, etc., etc. See useful objects and security systems through the walls as well. Dark vision is highly useful for stealth, allowing you to watch enemies from behind walls before approaching them. Seeing an enemy's facing and view cone gives you a significant advantage in terms of sneaking. With this power active, you can see visual representations of the sounds you make as well, which further aids in sneaking and understanding stealth. At level 2, useful items, resources, and security devices such as the Wall of Light are also visible through walls. I'll take it. Yes. That's fine. This would have helped me last episode, actually.
How you use what I have given you falls upon you, as it has to the others before you. And now I return you to your world, but know that I will be watching with great interest.
Alright there, Palpatine. The Hound Pit's Pub. We've already read that. Wow, there's a lot of stuff around here. Mission clues. Pierrot is an inventor who is available to craft and upgrade equipment. Pierrot spends most of his time in the workshop. Samuel the boatman has smuggled you across the river from Coldbridge Prison. He works for an underground movement opposed to the illegal reign of the Lord Regent and has brought you to meet the members of the organization. That's fine. What's with all this stuff? Why are all these bone charms here? Is this like a pre-order bonus thing? Even though I haven't pre-ordered anything. Like, where is all this stuff from? Why are there all these rewards? Oh yeah, it's whatever. Just pick it all up. Bone charms provide small supernatural benefits. Locate them by listening for the song they emit. By default, you can activate up to 3 bone charms at once in the bone charm section of the journal. I'll take it all. It's whatever. Field Survey Notes, The Royal Spy. Excerpt from the personal memoirs of Hiram Burrows, dated several years earlier. This is the 4th day, month of high cold. Progress continues on the suppression of gang activity in the Distillery District, but more slowly than I'd expected. The ruffians operating there have been cunning, and I'll grant them that, but it's only a matter of time. I'll see their leaders flogged in public and sent beneath the Royal Executioner's blade. If I had my way, that mute bastard would be working night and day, removing the heads that need removing. Internally, the Empress does not seem pleased with my investigations. It seems that it is beyond her thinking, against her very nature as a trusting person, to believe that traitors move among us, but I know they do. They must. No, Jessamine would rather spend her time with the Royal Protector. At least he's likely to stop any immediate threat to her safety, but a strong arm is not what's needed against those who would undermine us. How would Corvo's sword stop a poisoned wine glass or an explosive delivered by courier? It will not. There are many threats around us. Threats requiring the meticulous efforts of police. Threats requiring meticulous efforts to police. Young Lady Emily is undisciplined, I'm afraid. Here within Dunwall Tower, she receives instruction from the finest tutors known in the Isles, yet her mother spoils her and she spends most of her time lost in imagination, wasting her time drawing or asking Corvo to teach her to fight with wooden sticks. The girl might rule the Empire someday. Every moment spent at play is a moment wasted. Shoring up security for the main gate leading into Dunwall Tower has been another pet project of late. To think that back in his day, Emperor Kaldwin left it open to the public during the day, allowing anyone to come and go as they pleased. If it were up to me, I'd seal off access to the streets entirely, but the Empress won't hear of it. The waterlock is much easier to protect, and if it were the only way to the tower, traffic in and out would be greatly reduced. Someday the wrong person is going to slip in, and will suffer for it, mark my words. No amount of security is excessive when it comes to protecting the heads of state. The Empress also disapproves of my plan to use the Sokolov devices. Sokolov himself has no interest in security, of course, but he's vain and therefore keen to see his inventions deployed in any fashion. This wall of light he's been tinkering with has promise. In any case, at least I was able to convince the Empress to upgrade the pistols carried by the officers of the Watch. Why do I worry so when no one else seems to care? If I ever fall asleep, will it all sink into the ocean? Will the rough things clamber over the walls and fill themselves on our flesh? This is what I see in the same dream several times each month. If only I had more say in things, more authority, I could protect us all. Perhaps I have been working too hard. Dinner and an evening of conversation with a certain lady of refinement might be in order. Perhaps somewhere nice in the estate district. Hiram Burrows, Royal Spymaster. Okay. And this is Rumors and Sightings, Dowd. Excerpt from an Overseer's covert field report. For over a year now, I have lived away from the Abbey, without the company of my Overseer brethren or the guidance of the blind sisters of the Oracular Order. Days have passed with me sleeping in the dens of cut-purses, murderers, and worse, and the nights have seen me prowling through the worst alleys and wretched corners of Dunwall. I have taken my meals with killers. At times I have ventured beyond the city walls, meeting in forgotten graveyards and the outlying ruins frequented by those of ill means. My beard has grown long, and I wear the weathered clothing and bits of boiled leather favored by the Bottle Street and Hatter gangs, and by those rough men and women who make their trade, knifing others in return for coin. My hands have run red with blood, it's true, but I have selected my targets with care, choosing among those criminals and heretics who are not fit to live, executing them justly, and using their deaths as a means of building my reputation. So for this trick that has allowed me to make my name among my murderous colleagues without taking the lives of the innocent. So far, this trick has allowed me, yeah, okay. My goal is singular. I must impress the assassin named Dowd in order to get close to him. Of all the practitioners of black magic we have tracked, none concern the Abbey so much as Dowd. It is said that his mother was a witch from one of the archipelagos, there you go, off the Pandician coast, taken captive by pirates venturing far from the Isles. According to the legend, by the time the ship returned, the captain was dead and the witch controlled the crew, with Dowd still a shadow in her belly. The earliest stories tell of a gang killer without mercy, moving among the shopkeepers and the city watch officers of Dunwall like a reaper through wheat. Then a period of silence followed. Years we now believe he spent traveling the Isles, studying anatomy and the occult in the great halls of learning and in hidden basements frequented by fellow dabblers in the forbidden arts. Dowd is even purported to have spent a winter in the Academy of Natural Philosophy itself. And, for a time, before the schism developed, He counted the Brigmore witches among his allies. All the while he honed his craft, and it is during this time that we believe he began to consort with the Outsider. I think the DLC is called the Brigmore Witches, actually. Again, I've never actually played it. New reports emerged of a dusky-skinned assassin, paid by the elite to eliminate their rivals in Dunwall, and in the other major cities across the Isles. Those who saw him and lived numbered in the handful, but all of them reported something strange. He appeared and vanished like smoke. From a nearby rooftop, he gestured and a noblewoman stumbled from her balcony, falling to her doom on the cobblestones below. Most recently, as this new threat of plague has risen in Dunwall, Dowd has been seen leading a gang of men in dark leather, dressed as factory whalers in their vapor masks. They seem loyal beyond comprehension for one so unworthy, leading me to wonder if some of his magic is dedicated to lulling their minds, enslaving them. Only 1 month ago, one young girl claims to have come across a strange scene. Carrying a bottle of milk home to her crippled brother, she was taking a shortcut through the tailor's district. In a narrow street, she passed underneath a window and heard unusual sounds from within. Pushing aside the ratty curtain, the girl saw into an abandoned apartment used by miscreants for gambling and trading haberweed. An occult shrine had been erected against the far wall, which she recognized from the teachings given by her local overseer. A man she described as resembling Dowd was kneeling before the shrine, muttering to an unseen spirit as if in argument. He took a carving, made of pale bone, from the altar before him, and the lights all went out in a gush of unclean wind. Quiet as a field mouse, she slipped away, running until she reached her home. There can be no doubt. Dowd is an agent of the Outsider and must die, for there is no limit to the evil this man might do. This is my solemn oath and the great purpose of my life. Until Dowd is dead and his corruption has been purged from the world, I will continue to move among the depraved, winding my way towards him. I will not drop my guise or don my overseer's mask again until Dowd breathes no more. Okay. That was long-winded. Still don't know why all this stuff is here. I'm going to just have to assume that these artifacts and stuff are from bonuses from like the definitive edition or something. I might not actually use them, you know, because they might be cheaty, but we'll see, we'll see. Early life and criminal records, Slackjaw. This is also a very long book. Okay, wonderful. Excerpt from a series of letters sent by a member of the Bottle Street Gang. You want the chinwag on Slackjaw, what he was like when we was young, before he got his name? Oh, he's got a cool head now, but it weren't always like that in the days before he was boss of the Bottle Street Gang. Time was, young Slackjaw wasn't such a reasonable man. Like most of us, he grew up on the streets, running with a pack of ragamuffins, and avoiding the law, pinching whatever was needed. Dark-haired and dark-eyed, smoking a pipe by the age of 10. For them born into the brothels or coming from the orphanages, it was either the gangs or working with the mudlarks, and no one wants that. Some got pressed into the Navy or put down in the mines run by the Pendleton or Boyle families. As hard as it was on the streets, as hungry as we all got, at least we was free. By the time we weren't little uns anymore, Slackjaw was one to watch. Usually calling the shots when we took down a farmer's cart or a sidewalk street vendor. He'd come up with a plan, give everyone some part to play, and then decide on the split. Most of us just went along, because we learned fast that we made out better like that. More food, more coin. Plus, none of us wanted to deal with Slackjaw when he was in a rage. He worked on a couple of big jobs with Black Sally across town, and that was enough to get the attention of the other bosses. He wasn't just a street kid anymore, now he was an up-and-comer, which meant trouble. Another guy who fancied himself as much was Mike the Fish, who was working his way up running the protection racket among the factory women. One fine evening, we're all taking in a bawdy show in the theater house. Mike the Fish and his lot are there in the cheap seats too, just down the aisle from us. Mike gets a wild idea, he wasn't big on planning, and throws a heavy ceramic spittoon at Slackjaw, hits him square in the face and breaks his jaw. We look to see if there's going to be a blood brawl, but Slackjaw just points at the door and we all leave, with Mike laughing at our backs. Waking up the next day, without telling us why, Slackjaw motions us all to follow. He still can't say a word, so we just come along. We stop at the docks and Slackjaw buys, actually pays coin for it, a heavy chain covered in hooks. It's for fishing in the deep, something you'd attach to a long line off the side of a ship. It's about 4 feet, made of thick links, and there are shark hook coming off of it at different angles. Slackjaw's got that thing wrapped around his left arm, dangling at his side. Not sure how he knew where Mike the Fish was staying, but when we reach his girl's house, Slackjaw throws a bottle through the window, just like that. It's almost noon. There's a bunch of screaming inside, and Mike pokes his head out, looking wide-eyed and baffled. When he sees Slackjaw out in the street, a look comes over his face that still gives me the willy. Pure murder. Mike comes out the side door bellowing like a blood ox, holding a cleaver, heading straight for Slackjaw. When they come together in the street, Slackjaw spins and the shark hooks bite deep into Mike's arm and shoulder. He screams, but Slackjaw holds onto the chain. He's standing there with his jaw broken, clenched tight, with the chain wrapped around his left arm, Hook sunk into Mike the Fish, just knifing him as fast as he can. Mike couldn't fight very well, hooked like that and using his left hand, but he was a big guy and it took a lot of stabbing before he went to his knees. Everyone was cheering at first, but then we all went quiet. It just kept going and going, until finally it was just Mike the Fish blubbering, crying like a baby, and the sound of Slackjaw's knife. When it was all over, and here's the brilliant part, Slackjaw took out a note and stuck to Mike's face with a nail. It just said, "If you want a job, come to Bottle Street." Slackjaw didn't talk right for a couple of months, but word spreads fast. By the end of the year, once we had a sizable gang going, he sent out letters to the other bosses, telling them that he was running a brand new crew over on Bottle Street. Most of them laughed or beat up the guys who delivered the letters. Green-Eyed Trish even came back missing a thumb, but apparently Slackjaw was expecting that kind of reaction and had a backup plan. A week later, 4 of the bosses were dead. Seemed like a series of unfortunate events, but everyone knew better. One shot dead by the watch while standing in the middle of a meat market. Another slipping and falling into the water, out cold. One of the older bosses found in bed, with his belly opened wide and a Tivian pear stuffed into his mouth. Still not sure what that meant. And Sheila Barnsworth was found bubbling in a cauldron of hot wax. Slackjaw sent out another set of letters. Offers to the underbosses, telling them that they'd be treated fair as peers. He even sent Green-Eyed Tish with one of the letters. All of the underbosses accepted. After spilling the guts of his main competition, Slackjaw went in for stabilizing his business, real neat-like. Calling in favors, smoothing things over, giving everyone a little bit of coin or drink as a bonus. Showing what he could be like as a boss. As everything got quiet, which always makes the boys of the City Watch nervous, of course. Oh, so everything got quiet. Word went out among the Royal Spy Master's snitches. The responsible citizens group they called themselves, telling everyone working in a shop or sweeping off the front steps of their homes to keep watchful eyes for Slackjaw and his men, trying to suss out what they were up to and what had happened. But Slackjaw ain't stupid. He greased a few palms among the shopkeepers and the watch too, telling them that he was in town to stay, and that things would be run properly from now on, without so much blood. He was finally a real boss, ready to settle into the business of moving whiskey, running the hound fights, and offering up the ladies and gentlemen of the night, if you take my meaning. Then the plague came. At first, it seemed like a good thing. A few people got sick and everyone wanted to buy those potions, from Sokolov or Piero. Health elixir or spiritual remedy, they call them. Slackjaw told me that he saw an opportunity. We already had an old whiskey factory with a still, where we could water the stuff down and sell it discounted. Doing the same with... It's doubled here. Sokolov's elixir was a smart plan. Pretty soon everyone in the slums was sick and business was good. But after a while, there were so many people down with plague that everyone got scared. Everybody started acting real nasty and everyone fell apart. Everything fell apart. When people can't work, they don't have the coin for elixir, watered down or pure. When the Empress died, it seemed like Dunwall would slide into the void. Spymaster Burroughs took over and the watch started using all that new Sokolov technology. Watchtowers, tall boys, and them arc pylons. The tall boys are the big, stilt ATSTs, basically. I'm just going to call them that. They put up a wall of light across Clavering Boulevard and cracked down hard. But Slackjaw surprised us again. Instead of leaving town on a boat bound for Morley or one of the other isles, he stayed and kept it all together. We get as much elixir to fight off the plague as the City Watch, with their taxes and rations, and that's kept us alive so far. Crowley, Bottle Street Gang. What's with all this lore that's just sitting in my room? I wonder if this is by default, or again, if it's from the definitive edition. One last book. The Journal of Granny Rags. Also a long one. Excerpt from the Ramblings of a Street Denizen. Of course I'll tell you, dearie. I won't keep any secrets from you in the end. All the dreary days of my life are like the windows of a house. From the kitchen, I can see out into the garden where the leaves and stalks are brown and bug-eaten. You can see a little lump of dirt where something was wrapped in a blanket and laid to rest among the rows of twisting vines. The front room looks out into the street, where the neighbors are all setting fire to their homes, barricading themselves in. Warm and snug, dearie. Don't forget about the bedroom, either. It sees into a dreary alley, where hooligans are playing a game with an old man. The first 2 are hitting him with sticks, and the girl with them is kicking at his dry old ribs. Oh, to have those bones, to boil them in a pot. No one lives in my house anymore, dearie. No one you'd want to meet. When I lived there with my husband, we were fine. Fine, fine people. Vera more, everyone would say. Your house is as grand as Boyle Manor. Better, even. Your dinners are lavish and your parties are the best. When that young Sokolov came to paint my portrait, I was nearly still in my prime. Radiant, he said, and he was just barely a man, so young, painting all the best people across the land. Everyone wanted a portrait by his hand, all of my friends. I was the only one, dearie, wet with his paint, glistening on the canvas for a pretty coin. But it wasn't all parties and paintings. My husband and I weren't always at home, no. We traveled together, he and I, to the far ends of the Isles. Beyond even, all the way to the red cliffs of Pandysia, to dig in the rock and crawl through the caves, holding up candles and squinting at the walls. Many precious things we came upon, but none so precious as the boy with the black eyes, dearie. All those marks and bones, carved so deep and polished so bright. I brought the old bones home, hid them from my dear husband, then learned to boil them and carve them myself. They made such good presents, dearie. The little mute boy took them home. He loved them so. All the time he came back with new bones for me, holding them up so I could see it in his eyes, even though his tongue was still. Granny, his eyes would say to me, carve these bones for me. Make me another present. And he went so far, all the way to the Dunwall Tower. The royal headsman himself now. My little mute boy and his shiny, shiny sword. Better bones were what I needed, you see. Better bones to carve and polish, scrape and gleam. My dear old husband was always tired. I made him soup, and then he was sick. Better bones was all. For my little mute boy, carved in the name of the one with black eyes. That would be the outsider. And after my husband was gone, given away as birthday gifts, I didn't want to live there anymore. You boiled your husband, right? Is that what you meant by the bones? I assume she put her husband in the pot and then gave away his bones as gifts. So now I'm old and I don't have many to give my presents to. It's sifting through the garbage for granny rags and feeding the little birdies that gather at my feet. No one wants to have teas, dearie. No one wants to have tea, dearie, especially those rude louts on Bottle Street. Slackjaw and his boys, always meddling with an old woman just trying to make her way. In the end, we'll be together with him. You and me in the dreary night with stars above and below. And always the one with the black eyes, dearie. Alright. Well, that was fun. Oh. Let's take a look. I can't even open my inventory, can I? Bone charms. How cheaty are these exactly? Quite cheaty. That's not terrible. Quick dodge. Enemies miss more often with arrows and bolts. River affinity, swim speed increased slightly. Moderate keyhole peeping magnification. Breaking glass sound is moderately reduced. Breath capacity is increased. It's not that bad. Win sword versus sword contest more frequently. Blast resistance. Damage from explosions reduced slightly. Yeah, this stuff is not that bad. Fire water. Shot whiskey bottles explode with greater intensity. Gutter feast. White rats can be consumed for mana. Void channel. Power effects slightly improved. That seems cheaty. Okay, well, I'm gonna not activate them for now. Seems unnecessary. Now, I want to pull out the heart, because apparently the heart will tell me secrets about everybody. And there are runes around here, apparently. Which is fine. So I do want to go over there for the rune. How bad is the fall damage, exactly?
Somewhere in the basements below, hound kills hound, and money changes hands. Such laughter, and they're singing the old songs, linking on.
He can't sleep in regular beds
But
anymore.
that was from a happier time.
Says he was in the Navy too long. Can you believe it?
Oh,
That pile of wood out there? It's a hovel he built from an old rowboat. Where does Admiral Havelock find these people, I wonder?
Okay.
Good
Dialogue?
day, Master Corvo.
I had a sailor for a boyfriend once. He thought he'd strike gold digging in the Pandysian cliffs. They found his ship drifting empty. You know, I tried to attend services with the overseers for a while. They've just gotten more and more, I don't know, rabid about the 7 strictures and witchcraft and all that nonsense. I think the Admiral's awfully distinguished, don't you?
Anything else?
Everyone I know cried the day we heard the news about the Empress. Poor woman. And her little daughter lost. From what I understand, it just killed the Admiral to be cast out from the Navy. That was his life, before the Lord Regent came along. Someone came and banged on the door a few nights ago. I thought Lord Pendleton would piss himself. Oh, begging your pardon.
It's fine, I'm not aristocracy or noble.
To think what I spend smuggling in wine for his lordship. That Wallace can cook, yes, but the way he talks to us, you'd think he was a lord himself.
Really?
I'd work for you for a year for free if you managed to get that Lord Regent off the throne. None of the shops are open, all the business has dried up, and most people can't even walk the streets. That man's a blight on the city.
Okay, no more dialogue from her, but now I get to listen to about her secrets.
The other servants don't like her.
Well, the way she talks about other people, yeah, I can imagine that.
Work is never done for the lowly servant.
Mm-hmm.
Her servant wages will not be enough to fix her father's debts.
Oh, that sucks.
For all the hard work, there is little reward for her. If she lives until tomorrow, her day off, she will be mauled by leapers and left for dead.
Well, that's awful.
Do not pity the servant. There is pride in the job well done. There is not a day that goes by she does not consider taking her own life.
That's also
The
awful.
house help is treated poorly, but there are worse ways to earn a coin. The pain in her back is constant. Nothing helps. Deals are made here, sometimes under the influence of wine, and sometimes the influence is the point of a knife. Work is never done for the
Okay, so that's
servant.
repeating now. Let me talk to Cecilia upstairs. I want to know all about you people. Hello.
Lydia and I trade chores sometimes, and I'm starting to think I never come out ahead. She's a smart one. I hope the attic's to your liking. I've slept there myself on summer nights.
Well, so far so good. I got interrupted by a strange entity. I don't know if that's happened for you.
I went and knocked on the front door a few nights ago for a joke. No one thought it was funny.
Oh, so that was you that Lydia was referring to.
My sister lost a tooth last month, fighting off some officer from the City Watch. The sooner the Lord Regent is gone, the better, I say.
Sounds like it. You say fighting off, I assume they tried to assault her then.
Just you wait. I'll own this place one day. I've dreamed it.
I don't know if that's likely.
She hides her hands. They are raw and scarred from the washing. The common woman, she fears the abbey and the plague. She is a seamstress in a shop frequented by the wealthy.
Really?
There is nothing common about the work she does every day. Before the sun rises, they toss any casualties into the river. Men or hound, they all go in.
Oh, that's ominous.
They top off the wine with river water, but eventually someone swoons. Then fresh bottles are fetched from the cellars. All she wants is to lay herself down in the middle of Farming Street and await death.
Why does everyone have so... I mean, it is a depressing time, but why does everyone want to kill themselves?
The fabric of the city is made of stuff such as she. She starves so that her children can have bread.
Oof.
The common folk, simple-minded, selfish, but they can be kind. She has only one dress, and wears it to tatters. The common woman, she fears the abbey and the plague.
I wouldn't have guessed that she had kids, to be honest. A Gaffer's Tale Volume 2. Okay, well, that's a book that I didn't notice earlier. A Gaffer's Tale Volume 2, or A Gaffer's Final Passage. After more than a quarter of century, I am done with whaling, too broken to continue. I've seen all the corners of the Isles and made more coin than most men see in a lifetime, but it's all gone. I've lived through an emperor and watched his daughter take the throne. Fair young empress she was, but slain so young. Wait, is this a very recent book? Huh. Everything beautiful comes to die. I've eaten in every port of the gnome world and sailed in the loneliest waters you can imagine. I've seen the cliffs around Pandysia. Even the best of it doesn't give me an ounce of joy. The years come back across my dreams as a line of butchered bodies, long, sleek, and singing among the waves under the moonlight, only to be speared by ugly, weather-scarred men who'd knife each other for a good pair of boots. Each year I've had less time to come home. My tongue forgot the language of small chatter, and those who lived in the cities thought me odd. My sister Nina hardly knew what to say to me during our visits. When she lost her business to the Lord Regent's crooked barrister, I was 100 miles east of Morley, Gaffhan frozen from the sleet as we tracked the first bull whale we'd seen in months. I helped her as much as I could, but Nina died in the early days of the plague. None of it mattered. If I'm jaded and bitter, it's because this industry has taken away my dreams. The world has beaten me. Well, that sucks.
plague ordinances will remain in
Their
effect
fate
through the
rests
month
on
of
your
rain.
effort,
Stay alert
on
and
the
stay
strength of your
loyal.
hands and of your heart. They stood in a circle around the candles and cut their hands to form their alliance. The blood hissed as it touched the flames. The conspirators have found a safe home here. They take great care that they are not followed. The ale here is sweetened with honey to hide the taste of river brine.
Okay, can I, like, climb up, please? Okay.
The sober speak in whispers. The drunk bellow.
I would like to quickly fly over there. Or not. That'll do.
Fortunes have been won here, and lives have been lost.
I believe that.
The old man claimed a dark corner and drank himself into oblivion.
Play your way. Powers. The powers you obtain from runes can be used creatively to defeat enemies or move through the environment. Blink from roof to roof, possess rats and fish, or slow time before rushing a group of enemies.
The hounds.
Which one did I just find? What did I pick up? Oh, I already have this, right. Okay. I'll just collect it.
They are burning whales. Somewhere in the basements below, hound kills hound, and money changes hands.
Okay. Nice. Let's see what other secrets I can find. What's this? Cape of Teeth map. Who's chilling in here? Don't tell me someone sleeps here. Huh. Mysteries of Pandacia. At the Academy of Natural Philosophy, they speak of the Pandician continent as a place of wonder where all of life is intertwined and blossomed across eons, producing a vibrant ecology unrivaled in the civilized world. The overseers from the Abbey of the Everyman, by contrast, talk of horror and heresies, of cults of submen engaged in brutal, perverse rituals. The few who have traveled to the far continent and come back to the Isles, those who have actually touched the soil there, have returned with notes that describe vast deserts, deep jungles, and outlandish creatures that defy belief. Once in a generation, a great effort is mounted to build a colony there, in hopes of this someday growing into a port city to rival Dunwall itself. But to date, those attempts have all ended in madness and failure. Okay.
Such laughter, and they're singing the old songs, linking arms. But that was from a happier time. For all the hard work, there is little reward for her.
Where is Pietro? Are you chilling up here? You are. Hello.
Each and every night the black-eyed outsider visits upon Piero's dreams.
Really?
Deals are made here, sometimes under the influence of wine.
Havelock stopped in earlier, but I forgot what he wanted.
The point of a knife.
He's waiting to see you.
Yeah, that's fine.
He is Piero Joplin. Even now he visualizes the next invention. Astonishing. I wish you could see it too. Poor Piero. His elixirs have cured so much for so many, but they cannot cure his brain fevers.
Well, that sucks.
The youngest ever to pass through the Academy of Natural Sciences. Sokolov will never forgive him that. He has spied upon Callista as she bathes, more than once.
Who's Callista? I haven't run into her yet. Also, that is, not okay, dude.
Each and every night the black-eyed outsider visits upon Piero's dreams. He is Piero Joplin.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Even now he visualizes the next invention. Astonishing.
Okay.
You should see it too.
He has spied on Callista as she bathes, but I don't think I've met Callista. You're Lydia again, aren't you? Yeah, you're Lydia. You're... I've already forgotten your name, even though I just talked to you, Cecilia. Haven't run into Callista. Hello, Havelock.
Well, let's get down to it. First off, I know that assassination is dark business, but sometimes good men have to do bad things to make the world right. Our purpose is clear. We want to restore Her Majesty's line by finding and putting Emily Kaldwin on the throne. To those ends, we'll hide, act in shadow, take them apart, piece by piece.
Okay.
Tonight, High Overseer Campbell dies by your hand. It won't be easy. He's protected by his overseers, an army of religious zealots. But if anyone can do it, you can. Your exploits are legendary. Campbell carries a private journal. Once you've eliminated him, get the journal, because we think it contains Emily's location. Recovering her is obviously critical, assuming she's alive. That's the gist of it. Remember our cause and strike true. We're counting on you.
All right.
Another thing. Campbell is holding a former overseer by the name of Martin. He's one of us, and if you manage to find him, give him whatever help you can. He's a master strategist, and he got caught working for our cause. It'd be good to have him back here at the Hound Pits. Glad to see you got your rest, Corvo. You'll need it.
Okay.
Say, that's an interesting tattoo on your hand. Saw a lot of that in the Navy, but nothing quite like yours.
Mine's a little special, Havelock.
Keep your eye out for Martin. I need him back here if we're going to pull this off.
Okay.
High Overseer Campbell tricked and bullied his way into power. The man is completely corrupt. The City Watch and the Overseers can't stand each other. The military doesn't mix well with a bunch of religious fanatics. You might be able to use that. Nervous? I would be. Tonight is the beginning of a new life for you. But you're killing for a just endeavor. Remember that. High Overseer Campbell is a bastard, and we've got to find Emily.
Sure.
The Overseers are a strange bunch, completely obsessed with the 7 strictures and hunting down heresy. I don't know if I believe in all that witchcraft bunk, but I saw some odd things at sea.
I believe it.
Admiral Havelock has seen more corpses than all the rest put together. He has killed whales and men for profit and pleasure. He has the bloodlust. He tried to seize control of the military after the Empress. After the Empress was murdered. Look at him. Admiral Havelock grows restless on land. There was a younger brother, an artist, sensitive, soft, taken at 9 by a fever. Havelock loved him truly. Admiral Havelock has
Okay,
seen more
it's repeating now.
corpses than all the rest put together.
I'm noticing the aristocracy guy is not around.
Oh, Corvo?
The noble.
If you've a moment.
Oh, you're Callista.
Corvo. Hello. I'm Callista. I work here for Admiral Havelock. I'm sorry to intrude on your business, but this is important. I suspect you're going to kill the High Overseer. That wretched man. There's really no reason for you to listen to me. But my uncle, Jeff Kernow, still serves as captain in the City Watch. But he's a good man, and my only family. The chatter in servant circles is that Campbell just took delivery of an exotic poison. And I think I know why. My uncle's not corruptible like the rest of them. Campbell is going to poison my uncle. Do you think you could protect him? You used to do that, right? Before you had your current profession. Before you became an assassin.
Yeah, I'm open to it. Ensure Captain Kernow survives his visit to the office of the High Overseer. I do want to do that. But you don't want to talk to me, do you?
Before the sun rises, they toss any casualties into the river. Men or hound, they all go in. She is Callista Kernow.
I overheard the Admiral at breakfast, talking about the Overseers. That's all I heard. And I think it's better if I don't know too much about what you people are doing.
Probably a good point.
She and her uncle, the last of the Kernow family. She dreams of freedom, and the decks
He's
of
my
waves
uncle and
shift
he means a lot
fast
to me.
after the beasts of the sea.
His name is Jeff Kernow.
But alas,
Captain Jeff
she's a woman. Such sadness. She is Callista Kernow.
Okay,
She
so
has
that's
learned
repeating
to
as well.
defend herself in this treacherous city.
One more.
She and her uncle,
Okay.
the last of the Kernow family.
Samuel, can I scan you as well, please?
Samuel Beechworth went to sea to forget a hopeless love.
When you want to shut out,
Succeeded.
just give the word.
I will.
The boatman has a good heart and respects you.
Well, that's nice to hear.
Samuel is a simple man,
I'm ready when you are.
but he knows the River Redhaven and all its tributaries, down to the smallest inlet. He has many
At your
scars,
service.
some from the phlegm of the river crusts, Some from the nameless monsters of the deep.
I look forward to my adventures with you, sir.
Samuel was once eager to hear Havelock's stories of the sea. But perhaps the Admiral is not what he expected. They top off the wine with river water, but eventually someone swoons. Then fresh bottles are fetched from the cellars. Samuel Beechworth went
Okay,
to sea to forget
let's go.
I was wondering,
what was
sir, if you
love.
thought about perhaps seeing the area before venturing into the Overseer's nest. I'd recommend going with the best gear you can get together.
Okay, fine, I'll do that. I can upgrade some of my gear. I'm sitting on, what, almost 1,000 gold? Or 1,000 coins, whatever you call the currency in this. That's like a portal.
Their fate rests on your effort.
What can I do for you?
On the string.
Let's talk about upgrades and new equipment. I already bought... Oh, I can just straight up buy runes. That might be better. Bone trauma capacity. Yeah, because, again, like... So the reason I'm going to be reloading a lot in this game is because they've tied the outcomes to how often you kill things. And I don't want the bad ending, you know? So I'm just gonna go for like the nice one to the best of my ability. That's just how this game works, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm going to buy runes. You can only buy one at a time, I guess, which is fine. Combat Sleep Dart might be a good idea as well, because it's instant knockout. It'll save me some time in case I get caught. Mask Optics, I guess I'll grab it, so I can zoom in. Bullet capacity, bolt capacity, don't really care. Grenade storage, 2 additional bone charms to be active, also don't really care. Because I don't really have bone charms at the moment, other than the cheaty ones. I could buy sleep bolts, but I think I'm okay with what I've got, to be honest. Alright.
Your heart.
Bend time. I can slow time down. Interesting. Bloodthirsty. Agility. Jump height is increased and falling damage is decreased. Ooh, these both seem good, to be honest. I think I'm gonna do jump. Yeah, agility. You can jump higher by holding spacebar. At level 2, you can sprint much faster. I'll do bend time at another point, I think. Oh, I've got a double jump. Oh yeah, that's very helpful. Alright, let's get going.
Ready to go? Just give the signal.
Let's go then. Take me to the distillery district. Distillery District, High Overseer Campbell. High Overseer Campbell leads the city's militant religious faction and is a close ally to the Lord Regent. Campbell is completely corrupt and holds the secret to Emily's location. Infiltrate the office of the High Overseer, steal Campbell's journal, and eliminate him. An ally to the Loyalists, Martin, is being held here. Free him and allow him to escape. Also save the captain as well, Captain Curnow. Alright, that's my task.
It'll be a rough trip. Used to be to go straight up Clavering Boulevard, but now it's not so easy. Half the city's dead of the plague. The other half's fighting over what's left. City Watch still holds the bigger streets, and they've set up those wall of light checkpoints. A man walks through one of those, and he ends up burned to a crisp. Everything not controlled by the City Watch is gang territory. There are the real odd birds living on the fringes like that Granny Rags. They say she's nuts. I don't know which is worse. Just take your pick.
I would like to investigate all of these leads, actually. All of them, please. So, mission clues. The City Watch holds Clavering Boulevard beyond the first wall of light. The Bottle Street Gang controls the side streets around Clavering Boulevard, and Granny Rag lives in an apartment at the far end of Endoria Streets. Yeah, so, like, that's the fun part about this game. There is, like, a whole lot of different ways you can approach everything. But that's kind of what goes in an immersive sim, right? Optional. Ooh. Use the Bottle Street alleys to get around the walls of light. Locate Emily. Optional tasks. Granny Rags. Talk to her in her apartment. And also ensure that Captain Curnow survives his visit to the office of the High Overseer. Alrighty then. And you're just gonna chill here? That's fine. So that's the Wall of Light. I don't really have a choice as far as where I want to go. So you can double jump as well as fire off this thing. That's fine. Oh, and I can pull up the heart too.
The doom of Pandacia has come to the city.
Interesting.
The river rushed in when the barrier broke. The whole district went dark.
This is not the flooded district, is it?
I will be glad to rest.
Yep.
At the Academy, they cut the flesh of the dead and trap the lightning from the sky. Why am I so cold? The great ships have stopped bringing their hulls.
Got enough shit in it as it is.
What have they done to me?
Good question. Oh, I wasn't sneaking. I've already messed it up. That was my fault. I was too distracted by the dialogue.
At the Academy, they cut the flesh of the dead and trap the lightning from the sky. Why am I so cold?
Let's go.
The great ships have stopped bringing their hulls. What have they done to me? My father had golden hair. My mother hair like ash.
Hey, what is it? I think
Mine.
the last one was moving. What? Yeah, the little one. Not possible. I inspected it
This city is built on the bones of the great ones.
You mean like the whales?
When the last of the Leviathan is gone, darkness will fall.
I assume the Leviathans would also be the whales.
The city is dark, its doors are locked, and no more the great sermons. The overseers have taken to the streets. Can you hear them too? Crying out in the dark, the thinkers of the city. They devise new ways to tame the elements.
I'm gonna keep doing that after doing... Oh, those are the things that eat you. Oh.
1, 2, 3.
Let me through. That'll do.
Not so long ago, Dunwall was a proud city. Is it the month of harvest? Time has lost all meaning.
Let me up. Ah! Okay, well that's bad. I would like to go back up. That'll do.
Keep them coming.
That was a little awkward. Let's try it again.
How can it be that I know such things? Listen, I can hear their every thought. I am not alive, nor have I received the gift of death.
Like I said, the stuff that she says, ow, becomes much more obvious as far as what's going on with it. The heart, I mean. There we go. I've only fallen off
I
twice.
can feel a great age ending.
Yep.
They are burning whales. The doom of Pandacia has come to the city. The river rushed in when the barrier broke. The whole district went dark.
Okay, I think she's repeating herself now, so I'm good. Bone Charm, Robust 1. Here you are. Potions give you slightly more health. Sure. I'll activate the ones that are not from the DLC or whatever. Death in the Month of Songs. This is basically just a song or a poem. This is translated from Old Serkonan by Anissa Mateo of Serkonos. She was shy in the month of hearths, hiding from my scented letters, a sun-dappled cure for my loneliness. She was smiling in the month of rain, eating figs straight from the tree, a dream of sailing around the isles. She was wed in the month of clans to her sailor cousin from Kulero, a shrill bird drilling at my chest. She was dying in the month of songs, struck by a disease from the east, a terrible kiss on her distant lips. Okay, well, that's a thing. Darren plus Gwen. How nice. Okay, well, there was no other way to get around to this side, I guess, so I'm just gonna go back down the chain. No, I jumped over it. Ow. Well, that sucked. That's not how I wanted that to go. But unfortunately, that is how it went. I'm gonna have to get used to the controls again. Well, gonna die to fish. Yep, dying to fish. That could have gone better. Alright.
1, 2, 3, heave!
Are you a civilian? You're a civilian. There's no point in attacking you. Hello?
Sorry, I can't help you. I don't know this area well.
That's okay.
I will be glad to rest.
Okay, no
If
no
only
information
she
from
had a
you.
coin for every time she stubbed her toe. There is nothing common
Attention,
about
Dunwall
what she does
citizens.
every
John
day.
Clavering Boulevard
At the academy, they cut the flesh of the dead.
It's fine. I'm not gonna steal from her. That'd be terrible.
liable to search or imprisonment at the discretion of the City Watch.
I actually meant to refresh. I was actually planning to reload out of habit, and I used a healing thing by accident. But that's okay. Reward of 30,000 coins for Corvo Atano for the most heinous murder of our fair Empress Jessamine Caldwin. Reward will be paid by the City Watch in addition to rewards offered by private citizens of outstanding organizations. The offenses of this man are high crimes under the laws of the City Watch and the edicts of our brave Lord Regent. Wonderful.
Good. Keep them coming.
Oh, there are people over there, chilling. I can sneak under this.
1, 2, 3, heave!
Is there a reason to sneak under this, though? I don't think so. I mean, I can pick his pocket, but they're gonna see me. Yeah, this is not really worth the risk, like, for a few coins.
3, heave!
So, yeah. Back to the heart, then. There's a rune right there, and a bone charm.
This is a special announcement from
Rune.
our Honorable Lord Regent.
Okay.
This is the Lord Regent speaking. It is with regret that I announce that my term as Lord Regent has been extended through the month of August.
Your regret, huh?
This continuing crisis. The overseers of the Abbey of the Everyman remain
It's because I was running, isn't it?
to the state and are empowered to enforce order whenever and wherever necessary. We owe our thanks to High Overseer Campbell for the generous loan of their services.
They're looking for me, but they're not gonna find me, which is fine. There's no loot.
Attention, Dunwall citizens. This is a special
hi.
announcement from our Honorable Lord Regent.
I think my wife and I will be able to ride this thing out. The plague has to pass eventually.
That's optimistic.
He sighs of his ears and reports to the overseers.
That's not good.
Only after a long day of work will he return to his
You look like
home.
somebody important.
The overseers of the
I might
Abbey
be
of
both.
the Everyman
He
remain
always
in
did
service
so
to the
well.
state and
He
are
lets his
empowered
wife and
to
child
enforce order
You are not a good
It
person.
is in the
wherever
homeland that the
necessary.
Abbey finds its most
We owe our thanks to High Overseer
Sorry I
Campbell
can't help you.
for the generous
Some folks
loan
needed the food I
of
had and I
their
gave it away.
services.
He steals from his business partner, a little every day. Some men can still find work along the waterfront. Why am I so cold? He didn't tend to that cut, and now it festers. A man is only as common as his dreams. All that he had was lost in
Attention,
the flood.
Dunwall citizens. John
The great
Clavering
ships have
Boulevard has
stopped
been
bringing
designated
her
a
holes.
Gimme.
restricted travel area.
What have
Any
you
citizens
done to
are
me?
liable to search
Okay, well, these are
or
not
imprison
actual
at the
NPCs, so
discretion
realistically, it
of the
doesn't
City
matter about their secrets. This is Andoria Street. Probably close to where Granny Rags lives. Someone sleeps underneath the radiator. That makes sense. I can climb up and around. Granny's front door key. But this is where the granny lives, which is interesting. Well, this turns out to be the first place I found, so here I am.
Granny, 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 come out with me.
Granny instead. Granny, 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 you can't because you're dead.
Can I actually go through this? No, I can't. Okay. That's fine. Worth a shot.
I told you the knives go on the left. They've always gone on the left. You never listen.
Can I actually loot your house before anything else? Please and thank you. Moray War Medal. Thank you. You won't need those. Moray Urn. Sleep darts. I'll take that. Thank you. Okay. Hello, Granny. Rags.
On the left. You never listen. Dear?
Yes, that's me.
Is that you, my dear husband?
Unfortunately not, sorry.
My eyes aren't what they used to be. Have you seen my little birdies? Ah, the dear things must be starving without their granny. Here, birdies. Here. Oh, my. I think I have gentlemen callers again, but not the way I used to, not the nice ones. I hear them, and they're not very polite ones either. Granny Rags, let us in. Ah, well, they'll go away again if they know what's good for them. But what a bother. Here's the key to the front door, love. You'll see to those ruffians, won't you?
Sure. Gentlemen callers. Deal with Granny's gentlemen callers.
Are they gone yet?
Not yet.
Are those mean boys still there?
Yes.
Are they gone yet?
Can I heart you?
Long ago, Granny Rags danced at court. Men begged to marry her. I think the little birdies are sad today. In her mind's eye, she is fancy trimmed in velvet, fresh and young, on her way to an evening of romance. Yes, I would, indeed. Careful. She treads with purpose, and is not as frail as she seems. I think the little birdies are children sometimes circle Granny Rags, following along and taunting. She has given herself Granny, Granny, come out. Long ago, Granny Rags danced at court. Men begged to marry her.
Can I actually come out here and take your stuff, or what? Hello, Rune. Hi.
Be careful, Corvo. They call her Granny Rags. You wouldn't recognize her real name.
Well, it's something Vera Mori, right?
But an emperor begged for her hand once, and rich young men fought each other for her favor. I watched her consider them all, measure their worth, and find them wanting. Then, she made a different choice. You're on your way to face the High Overseer, the leader of a great cult dedicated to loathing me. What will you do, I wonder?
It's interesting that he's telling me to watch out for her, because she worships him. And he still says that she's a bit off. Okay. That's a little intriguing. Let's keep moving. So, if I open the front door, I'm gonna be forced to kill them all. So I think it's best that I jump down on them from above. I think that would be best.
Let us in, Granny. I bet she can't even hear us.
My daughter told me she
blind.
saw a whaling
Not
boat
deaf.
sink in the river yesterday.
We're here to do your washing. She's not stupid either. Have it your way. We're here to take your money, Granny.
I like how he
Wasting
didn't
our
notice.
time. How much could she have? She digs in trash for a living. Let's get a drink. I'm dry as an oak. What? Come on, let's
Okay.
get this guy.
Ow.
Gonna feed you to the rats.
Down you go. Still alive as well. Alright, I helped you out. I would like to eat some of the food that's in your house now because I took some damage for it. How much more of this do I have? 4 shots of the sleeper? Okay, that's fine. That's not bad. Okay. You're welcome.
Never listen. Oh, my dear.
I knew you'd help me with those ill-mannered boys. My brave man. Listen, Granny has a birthday present for you. I got it from the outsider, and now I'm giving it to you.
Thank you.
Go on. It's upstairs. On the vanity. I think you'll cut a nice figure with it. Remember how we used to dance?
Sure,
Our
let's go with
parties
that.
were even grander than those at the Boyle Manor. Everyone wanted to come.
Okay. Revisit Granny Rags and birthday gift.
I think the little birdies are sad today.
Thank you.
I hope you like the little gift I got for you. It's the least I could do for turning those louts away. I can't bear these Bottle Street children. Ruffians, every last one of them. Rotten apples. And that Slackjaw is the worst of the lot. You know what I just thought of? You could do something else for me. Another little favor. And I'd give you another present. Another lovely rune carved from the bones of a dead whale. Do you remember my doctor, dear? Dr. Galvani? Now there was a clever man. He's got all sorts of nasty rat guts and disease in his laboratory. Wouldn't it be a shame if some of that mess found its way into the Bottle Street Gang's elixir still? That'd teach him. See to it, dear. I'll find you another present just like the first. Galvani lives on Clavering Boulevard. Or at least he used to. Those were the days. Now run off. My baby birdies are hungry. So precious.
Yes, but I kind of want to...
You'll have to go.
I want to hear their story before I make a decision. Also, do not attack her, I think. That sounds like a very bad plan. But yeah, I kind of want to hear their side of the story before doing anything crazy to them. But let's see. What other optional tasks do I have right now? Gentlemen callers. I've already done that. Oh, break into Dr. Galvani's flat on Clavering Boulevard. I have it tracked right now, so that's fine. There's a rune over there. Bone Charm, Wall of Light. His office is okay. Okay. I'm not that far away from Bone Charms and stuff, so I may as well go for them.
My father had golden hair. My mother, hair like ash.
Okay.
This city is built on the bones of the great ones.
I believe it.
When the last Leviathan is gone, darkness will fall.
Are those gang members? Probably, right? Thank you. I'll just eat random street food, it's fine. Oh, this is a new map area, though. I don't really want to go through it immediately. Yeah, I'm gonna stay on Bottle Street for now. I want to deal with all this stuff before moving on. Bottle Street boys, you cannot kill the rat plague. Okay, so these people are definitely Bottle Street people. I'll take those.
Because you know we have to check you over. And there's an inspection fee. Oh, you don't want to talk to us like that. Fact is, Bottle Street is here to take its cut. So reach into your pockets and let's get this done. Yeah, and the inspection fee. We can't help it. Just the way we do things on Bottle Street.
Crap. I keep healing by accident. What a waste. Oh well. Well, you love those bottles, right? Oh, now you're both looking my way. I don't like that.
Hey.
Hey, what? Look over there.
Heard something.
Oh boy.
I'm trapped.
How did they not see me? I mean, fine, but... No, no one's here. Okay, he's walked away, and then he came back.
Hey.
I'm sure there's going to be a way to blink behind them. I mean, I could just shoot them. Okay, let me do a test. Let me just save, and then walk up to them. Will you attack me, or what? No, you're not attacking me. Ow! So you don't want to talk to me.
Cross the line.
Ow! Stop. Okay, so they don't want to talk. Fair enough. They're just very aggressive, rude people.
You in the mask. You look like a clown.
I am a clown.
I'm trapped.
Yeah, I can't help you with that right now, though, bud. These people are kicking me around.
Anyone there?
Okay. Get to the high ground, I guess.
Let me out.
Alright. What's up here? Dead people, as you might expect. Wonderful. Oh, what the hell? Mother's Journal. 8th entry. It's the 4th day of the month of rain. Morris is sick and so are the children. I've avoided it thus far, which is good fortune since it has fallen on me to care for them. 9th entry. The city watch comes and goes, knocking on doors and asking for signs of plague. Even our neighbors cannot be trusted. Earlier, it was difficult to keep the children quiet. Now they sleep most of the time. 10th entry. The flies have set in. I try to keep them away, but I can barely get close. They sting so. Most of the time, Morris won't answer me when I try to talk to him from across the room. 11th entry. Morris is gone. I don't know what I'll do. For now, all my hope is reserved for the children. Leaving the flat for a while near dawn, I found some plague bags from a guard booth while no one was around. It took a while, but I got Morris into one of the bags. At least his face is covered. 12th entry. Young Robert has passed. The star of my sky is gone. Page missing. 17th entry. Elise stopped breathing in the middle of the night. She was such a headstrong girl, I can barely believe she was overcome. She was always near as I cut up hagfish or vegetables, arguing with me about everything. 18th entry. It is the 4th day of the month of wind. It has settled in that they are lost to me, all of them. I cannot bring myself to call the dead counter. 19th entry. I have the fever now. No guards come near anymore. This is so sad and depressing, to be honest. Oh yeah, and there are the bodies. There are your kids. Timeless children rhymes. A set of cautionary tales for children. They say that Jimmy Whitcomb Riley was a brawler his mates called Smiley. He ran around up and downtown, pulling off every kind of crimey. On Bottle Street, he hung with the boys, throwing bricks and bottles and other toys. They'd start a fight, then run and hide, breaking, laughing far and wide. Smiley liked to eat and drink all day, and smash and bash the night away. Drunk and all alone, he drifted off a dreaming, sitting on a bridge along John Clavering. When he woke, something strange he found, stranger than a singing wolfhound. He'd become a blue-jawed hagfish, most slimy, and only remembered his name was Smiley. They say that Jimmy Whitcomb Riley was never seen again for all of timey, but he swam around up and down, drinking from the river, crying, "Why me?" Alright, fair enough. Like I said, very depressing, very unhappy. I am so sorry. And what else is up here? Another way up and around. My double jump won't let me climb that, which is fine. But I can dash across to here, I'm sure. Yep. Dr. Galvani's offices are right there. I can also knock out these people. I'm now behind the wall of light, which is good. Where does this lead? Very curious. So an upper area, lovely.
Can I buy your ration of elixir from today? Please, not now.
Don't get caught. I already got past the wall of light, that's fine. But this is not really where I want to be right now, is it? The Eradication of Black Sally. Excerpt from a popular story of crime and daring by Jules Robin and the City Watch. Before Slackjaw ran the streets in the Distillery District, there was no boss more ruthless, violent, or dedicated to squeezing the average citizens for coin than Black Sally. Like so many from Morley, she was pale-skinned and green-eyed, with hair as black as the void. They say she started young, and as a girl, she'd stun a man with her looks. Coming upon him in an alley, then smile a one-sided smile and suddenly run him through with a knife. She'd have his money and be on his way before he breathed, or on her way before he breathed his final breath. As a boss, she was worse, ruling over the meanest street gang Dunwall had seen up to that time. Her operation touched everything from shipping to prostitution. She even had a racket going with the Bakers Guild, a finger in every pie indeed. One man watched Captain Jules Robin made it his mission to stop her, and kept the case going for half a decade. Black Sally met her end when Robin had his men light smoke fires in barrels near the warehouse where she hid out during the day. As she and her gang rushed into the streets, terrified the building was burning, Captain Robin and his top officers threw nets over them and ran them all through with blades and pistol shot. Lovely. Well, the offices are right there, but I don't really want to be here yet. I want to go back to the back streets, and I'll worry about the other stuff later. I could take this guy out now, though. I'll just leave him behind here and hope that it's enough. Nice. Alright. Let's go back in that case. I could look down here. I don't think I actually want to be down there, though. No, definitely not. Not with the plague. Not with the rats. Okay. I don't need to be enemies with those guys yet, I don't think. That's kind of an eventuality, but not something immediately necessary.
Hey!
Hey. Hey, what? Okay, this sends me back up here as well.
I'm trapped.
I would like to take these guys out, but I'm not quite sure how to go ahead and do it. I guess I could waste my, sleeping darts. That's always a possibility. I like how he didn't notice that I stole from him just now. Can I literally just take you? No, I'm not behind him.
Let me out.
I like how that guy is completely... Okay. Okay.
Anyone there?
I think that was worth it. Hey. I don't know if freeing you is a good idea.
Hey.
Hello?
I owe you, brother. I want to ask about the mask. I wouldn't want my face seen either, pulling a stunt like that. You know what? I'll return the favor. Come by Griff's shop. That's my business.
Okay.
Well, it was, at one time. But now I'm reduced to scavenging things from here and there as the city dies. If you need anything, I wouldn't mind trading for a little money. Maybe someday the plague will blow over and everything will go back to normal. But until then, it's scavenging for me.
Sounds like a plan. Griff sells scavenged items on Blood Ox Way. Alright.
Want to look at some of the things I found? Good prices, I swear.
Sure. You're not coughing either, so clearly, I mean, at the moment, you're not infected, so that's nice. Blueprint. Ooh. A diagram for increasing stability in a multi-lens array. Piero can use this to upgrade the magnifying glasses in your mask. Sure, I'll buy it. Collect blueprints to unlock new upgrades and equipment in Piero's workshop at the Hound Pits pub. Okay, sure. I'll pick up the Sokolov formula as well. Sleep darts are usually only 30 apiece, so this is, you know, triple the price, so I'm gonna leave this stuff. Nice.
Huh?
That's mine now, you don't need it. Nope. So he was just basically stuck in this store. They hemmed him in, which is fine. I'm happy with what I did. Hello, mysteriously dead people. Oh! Well, they clearly didn't die of plague. Bone charm. Albinos. What? Albinos. You encounter white rats slightly more often. Sure, I'll equip it. 2 out of 8. But what's the purpose of it? That remains to be seen. Bone charms. A sailor's blessing, they say. The carving itself is a practice from long back, passed from father to son, old man Salt to Greenhorn, still getting his sea legs beneath him. In the old times, men cut into the tusks of ice seals and into the arm-long fangs of bears that roamed the isles north of Tivia. Once the whale trade began, the practitioners went to engraving the bones of those great beasts, rendering charms that sing in the night and grant some small boon to a man's vigor or defense against pregnancy. Oh, okay. There's a contraceptive. Interesting. Don't think there's anything else in here. Alright. These guys are alive, so we're okay. I guess that leaves, basically only the street level then. Where I was just now. That is not what I want. I nearly wasted a bolt. Nice. Okay. So I think I'm actually just going to leave it right here. I hope that you enjoyed what you saw here today and that you're doing well wherever you are. This has been Karst with Dishonored. And next episode, we're going to go into Dr. Galvani's offices and basically explore the rest of the distillery district. I hope you're looking forward to it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.